And also, and if you can make me a co-host again, then I can share the screen. Okay, I'm a co-host now. I'm going to share Safari. Actually, I don't need to share sound, do I? Okay, so this is the text here. So our Dandavat pranams to the assembled august assembly. No, it doesn't make sense. The assembled assembly. I don't think that works. Assembled Vaishnavas and wonderful sincere seekers. So we're beginning a new journey, new adventure, going through Sri Daśa-Mūla. Dosh is Bengali style. I'm sorry, Sivasini. So Dosh is 10, Mūla it means roots. And so this is how we translate 10 fundamental divine principles. This was composed by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And as I understand the context, one interesting point we can remember is that, the Gaudiya Sampradaya, relatively new, right? Mahaprabhu's Gaudiya Sampradaya, it's only been 500 years, right? Since Mahaprabhu was on this planet. And by the way, I can mention, yesterday was Rath Yatra, right? And we were watching the live stream from Jagannath Puri. And it just really brought home to me that, Mahaprabhu's Leela was not very long ago. It was just 500 years is not very long, right? And, and seeing that, because in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we hear so many beautiful descriptions of Mahaprabhu's Leela. And, and with Jagannath in Puri. And so to see this festival is still going on with these beautiful, glorious deities. It makes it all feel very close, very nearby. And so at different times, so what I mean to say in reference to what we're discussing now is certain things over the centuries, it's like our acharyas have been still working certain things out, in terms of presenting things in a formal way, right, for the scholarly section, right? And so, one example of that is that, Baladev Vijayabhushan, just a couple centuries ago, he composed the Gaudiya Bhashya, the Gaudiya commentary on the Vedanta Sutras, because there's some stipulation given somewhere that your sampradaya can only be considered bona fide if you check all these boxes. And one of them is that you have your own unique commentary on the Vedanta Darshan, or Vedanta Sutras. It's all Vedanta Sutras, as they're also known. This penultimate text of Veda Vyas. And so Baladev Vijayabhushan, he checked that box. He composed this Govinda Bhashya, based on Mahaprabhu's teachings, the teachings of Rupa and Sanatan. He compiled this Vaishnava commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, which is normally, interpreted in more of a Mayavad fashion, right? So that's as an example, right, of something that, came out, it was kind of worked out later, few centuries after Mahaprabhu had left the world. And then this Daśa-Mūla, as I also understand that, part of the context of this is that other sampradayas, I don't know so well. We can ask someone like our friend Lalita Madhava, who's a real scholar, for more details. But as I understand, it is the custom that a sampradaya will have a list like this. And maybe Suvasini Didi can also say something about that. But I've heard, for example, Madhvacharya, other acharyas, they have something similar, list of their, presenting the gist of their conception, right? And so within that context, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he composed this for the Gaudiya Sampradaya, for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's line, right? So that anyone, in a in a few moments, they can understand what is the gist of the teachings of this lineage and how do they differentiate from other ones, like what distinguishes our group, Sri Chaitanya Dev's group, from so many others, right? It's a very helpful reference, you could say. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gave us this. And so this verse, so this first verse, it's referred to, we see in some places, as the Daśa-Mūla Niryas. And in this first verse is summarizing the 10 principles in this one verse. And then in the following verses, Bhaktivinoda is expanding on each of these points. So these 10 points, they're summarized here. And, this will look familiar to many of you, even if you're not familiar with this text as a whole, because our Gurudev's book, Revealed Truth, it was structured according to these 10 principles. And they're very helpful, we can also say, like on an individual level as practitioners and someone's an aspiring preacher, they're very helpful because in a very concise way, they describe what is our conception, right? And our Gurudev, he mentioned on one occasion that, there are a few select verses that kind of tell you everything in one, like one verse tells you everything. There are a few like that. And he mentioned like 2 or 3 different verses he mentioned, and this is one. So it's very helpful, Mahaprabhu's conception of a Chincha Beda Bed, right, which is very central, right? That is mentioned here and other points. So it's a very helpful text to be familiar with for ourselves and for sharing the message. So we can begin. And one thing I would also like to read is in our Loving Search for the Lost Servant by our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. In the beginning, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, it's actually like the very first text. Oh no, it's not. It is the first text by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. It's titled Invocation. And there Srila Sridhar Maharaj is explaining the verse in a short way, right? And as always, Srila Sridhar Maharaj's explanations are always very wonderful. So Vasini Didi, before I begin, do you want to add anything to what I said? Something of the context, perhaps, of this composition?
No, Didi, I don't have anything to say. I think that's whatever you said is fine. And I think I'm also going to read it for the first time. Yeah. So I'll just hear whatever you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. And if anyone else, Jayadev, or very nice to see you, Jayadev Ji, or if anyone else wants to share anything that they know about the Darshan before we begin, please do not be shy. We have a nice group today. See, Saver Rupa's just joined us also. So I'm gonna read this. So we can maybe chant the verse together, and then I'll read this breakdown by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Amnaya praha tattvam hidam yiha paramam sarva shaktim rasabdim tadbinam shamsta jivan prakriti kavalitam tadi muktam strabhavat Veda prakasham sakalam apihade sadhanam shudabhaktim sadyam yatpritim vivetyupadi shakti hari gora chandro vajetam. Also, do you want to sit here, Kanupriya?
Yeah, I sit here.
Okay, so I'm going to read this text here. Here in one verse, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given the very gist of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. He says, and this line, I love this line. This is like a line where you'll either love this even more or you'll just leave. It's one of those. We are not interested in the opinion of anyone ordinary. Here in one verse, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given the very gist of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. He says, we are not interested in the opinion of anyone ordinary. There is no value. There is no value to any opinion other than what is revealed truth, Amnaya. So this is, for me, this is such a beautiful example of how Srila Sridhar Maharaj is taking something, a phrase that may be translated in, some standard way, but he's like really giving life to it and pulling out the essence and in a way that like shakes you up and makes you pay attention. So he's taking this idea from this first phrase, Amnaya Prahatatvam, that Amnaya means revealed truth. Something that is not man-made. That was the way our Guru Dev, I'm not sure of the literal meaning, maybe Suvasini or someone else can say, or Jayadev. Perhaps that is the literal meaning, not man-made, but coming from the upper level, from the transcendental plane. So the Amnaya, revealed truth, right? That's how it's generally translated, establishes tattvam, what is true. This praha, I believe it means like states. So revealed truth establishes the truth, right? Revealed knowledge, that establishes what is true. In other words, not what your next door neighbor says, or what your mom says, or what Google says, or what the politicians of the day say, or your favorite movie star, pop star, or whatever, right? But we're not interested in the opinion of any ordinary person. What are your spiritual credentials, right? In Search for Shri Krishna, there's that very nice chapter with the heading. We've got some background noise coming in. There's that chapter with that very nice title, Knowledge Above Mortality. Knowledge above mortality. And I just love that. It says so much, right? Like, what is the source of your knowledge? Is it from persons of the same understanding, the same level of realization as yourself? In other words, immortal beings, temporary ideas coming from mortal beings. What is the use of that? That knowledge will necessarily be of a limited value. But knowledge that comes from a plane beyond death, that constitutes absolute truth, of absolute value, right? That's what we're interested in. So, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, one thing he mentioned is that when he first joined the Gaudiya Math, this was something that impressed him in the spirit of the members there, that he said, and remember, we had to remember our Param Gurudev, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he joined at a time of great political unrest in India. Our Gurudev also, it was going on for some time, right? The Gandhi's movement, and there was also the conflict between Hindus and Muslims, and so much was going on. And so there was a lot of like activism going on. And Calcutta was definitely a hub for all of that, where a lot of, the preaching was going on, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj first joined there also. And also Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he first met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur there. But anyhow, our Param Gurudev, he mentioned that this was something that really struck him when he first started visiting the Gaudiya Math, that, you could mention so many great names of the day and know something that they had said, some quote, right? Rabindranath Tagore, who won the Nobel Prize for Literature, right? He's from Calcutta. He was of that, just the previous generation or so. Persons like that are great freedom fighters of the day. And then the members of the Gaudiya Math, they weren't interested, But as soon as you mention, in Bhagavatam, it says this, this scripture says that, then they're all ears. what's coming from a higher plane, that is worthy of our attention. So I really like this. We are not interested in the opinion of anyone ordinary. There is no value to any opinion other than what is revealed truth, Amnaya. Amnaya means revealed truth or scripture that is coming through a reliable source. The Guru Parampara, a genuine succession of gurus. And what do they say? They enumerate these facts. Now here's the list. So Harim Iha Paramam, right? This is the second point mentioned. If you're gonna, I can't highlight. It's just, I can't highlight this. So Harim Iha Paramam. I think everyone here is familiar with these words. You recognize these words?
I recognize Harim.
What is
Paramam.
Harim?
Is it the holy name?
The Lord,
The
Hari.
Lord.
Yeah.
Lord, okay.
Is also his name. And it's also the Lord, Hari. And Paramam,
Paramam, like great.
yeah, in supreme.
Supreme.
Yeah, and translate as great sometimes, supreme. So everyone knows these words, right? Harim Iha Param. Hari, what does it mean? Hari is supreme. He's the greatest. He is the highest. So Hari is all in all. Harim Iha Paramam. What is his nature? He is the master of all potencies. So here's the next point. Sarva Shaktim. That's also an expression I think most of you can recognize. Sarva Shaktim. Sudevi, do you recognize these words?
A little bit, some of them, yeah.
Sarva is everything. Now you're going to start noticing it everywhere. So Sarva means everything, or all, sorry, all. Probably more accurate. Yeah, everything, all, like that. So Shakti, that word you definitely know, Shakti. All Shakti, he's the holder, the possessor of all Shakti. Bhagavad Gita, this Sarva comes up with. Sarva Dharmam Pradityaja, right? You probably know that verse. Give up all dharmas. Then Aham Sarvasva Prabhavo Mata Sarvam Pravarsh. Everything's coming from him. You'll start seeing it everywhere. Versubdim, rasa, abdim means an ocean of rasa. So we'll go back to Parang Guru Maharaj here. He is the master of all potency, Sarva Shaktim, and he himself is the ocean of rasa, ecstasy, rasabdim. The next point here, Tadvinam Sham Shajivan Kaputi Kavalutam Tadvimuktam Chabhavat. And the Jiva soul is not a direct part of him, but a part of his potency. Tadvinam Sham Shajivam. Not a plenary portion, Shramsha, but a partial portion. Vibhinamsha means a separated part. This Swamsha is referring to a direct expansion of the Lord, like Vishnu, avatars, and so on. But this Vibhinamsa is this is a separated part, that is referring to us. Tad vimuktam chabhavat. Everything is a part of him, but Swamsha means an avatar, and Vibhinamsha means a part of his potency, Tatasta Shakti. And by nature, some souls are engrossed in the external potency, and we find some in the lap of the internal potency. Prakriti kavalitam tadvimuktam chabhavat. So some are in the material energy, and some are vimuktams, they are liberated from that. By Bhavad, I think it's saying by their devotion. We'll come to the literal translation later. By their very existence, right? Because the souls are endowed with free will, right? Consciousness means free will, so they have that freedom, right, to explore the dark energy, or to enter their real happy home, right, with Krishna. The internal energy and the external energy. By their very existence, some souls are within the Swarup Shakti and some are outside the Swarup Shakti. Some souls are liberated and some are non-liberated, mukta and amukta. Everything is a part of Hari and has something in common with him and something different. So this is the Achincha Beda Beda conception. Right? Beda Beda, simultaneously one with and different. Beda Beda Prakasham Sakalam Api Hare. So this sakal, that's another word for all, everything. So everything is Hari. And not at the same time. This is a Achincha. Has something in common with him and something different. And the only means to attain him is pure devotion, exclusive devotion, sadhanam shuddha bhaktam. Hari himself, in the form of Gaura Chandra, is giving us the understanding that divine love is the highest goal of life. Sadhyam yat pratim, and there's this last line here. Sadhyam yat pratim vivetu padi shati hari Gaura Chandra vaje tam. Now, I just want to point out, I wish I could highlight here, but unfortunately this PDF doesn't allow me. So I just want to point out these two words are very helpful for those of you who aren't familiar with them. Sadhana and sadhya, or sadhanam and sadhyam. So Vasaniti, what is the actual difference between like having the M and not having the M? Never understood that. Like prashad and prashadam, sadhanam, sadhana, sadhyam, sadhya. Is there, it seems like pretty much it's the same. Is this some small grammatical difference?
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, some say like this with the yam, some they don't, but I don't know exactly what is the significance of that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be important. It seems like sometimes it's more formal to put the M in there.
Yeah, in Tamil, in Tamil language, we always have the like M in the end, it's always like that. It won't be like, stop with the A, at the end, we always have M at the end. But yeah, don't know, but what is the real significance of it? But it's probably the. Actually,
now I'm looking, like a lot of these words are also like prakasham, it's used without the M, bhaktim, bhakti, like sadhanam, sadhana, vimuktam. A lot of these are used also without, so yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's more formal, like, to put the M, probably. It's the usage sometimes, we drop the M, or, the A at the end, sometimes.
Right. Yeah, that's what it seems to me, yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to point out for those who aren't familiar, these are two really helpful words to be familiar with.
It's a comment by Narottam here, Sanskrit.
Oh, okay.
It's usually ending in yam. Local languages usually don't.
Sanskrit usually, okay. Thank you, Narottam. Huh?
Annotate too.
Annotate tool? Oh, so can I like write on here? Oh, look at that. But I didn't do it very well.
Yeah, you can choose different.
Okay, well, maybe I have to experiment with this later. This is quite helpful. And this is very ugly.
You can make it wider then.
Okay, that's helpful. And a different color. So sadhya and sadhana, right? So sadhya is referring to the goal and sadhana to the practice. And this also ties in, this whole verse also ties in with Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. right? These three headers, which are encompassing everything, right? So Sambandha, understanding of what is what and what is the proper relationship of everything with everything else, right? That's being described here. That Hari Krishna is the supreme. We are one of his energies, his potencies, the separated part. This is all crucial Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of what is what, who is who, where do we fit into everything, right? Then Abhideya, what is the path, what is the way, or sadhana, you can also say. Shuddha Bhaktim. Okay, Sudevi, I'm going to put you on the spot again. What does Shuddha Bhakti mean?
Well, my understanding, I haven't really studied it, but Shuddha is like pure devotion, unalloyed devotion.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, Shuddha Bhakti. You'll hear that phrase from our gurus. Pure devotion. So what is the way? What is Abhideya? What is the sadhana? Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion. To engage in practices of devotion for the satisfaction of the Lord and the Vaishnavas. And then Sadhya, what is the goal? That is, as Prayojan is also the word used, Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan, the Sadhya. Here the word Priti is used. Priti means love. Elsewhere we'll say Prema, more commonly we'll say Prema. So divine love for the Lord. Upadi Shakti, this Upadish is referring to instructions by Gaur, this has been given by Gaur Chandra. This is his opinion. We're happy with his opinion. Okay. So clear. All right. So let's move on.
It's also a comment by Jayadev here.
Oh, nice. Let's see what Jayadev has to say. Chat. Oh, great. I was hoping Jayadev would chime in. This is a part of it, I think. Generally, the words ending with M in case of nouns are considered to be napumsaka lingam, neuter gender. Okay. Wow, Jayadev, you're very learned in Sanskrit. Neuter gender, and those nouns that end with H are masculine gender. Though this is not the only rule, it covers most of it.
No, that's not me. Sorry, I meant to say that's copy. I meant to put it in quotes. That's copied and pasted. I'm about in the same group as you guys, where I feel like there's something about the formal presentation. There's an intuition I think we all feel about it, but none of us are. No, this is me going through and finding online, and it's copy and pasted. But there is that. I think it partially has to do with
what we wanted. It's pretty impressive.
And then the one thing that I was feeling, it's a theory, but it's not exact, is like yoga just by itself is yoga with the visarga at the end.
Right.
And I think when a noun isn't in a sentence and it's unmodified, it actually has more of an ending. Like the M would be there if it's talking about the noun. If you're talking about Sanskritam just as itself, it's Sanskritam, not Sanskrit, or these types of things. Something where the noun is unmodified, it's presented as a separate entity.
I see. So when you're saying the word by itself, then it's more correct to include the M. It seems like that's what you're saying.
That's my theory. And then I'm basing that on lists in Shastra where words are presented in as free-floating concepts, not being altered by any sentence. You'll see it's for example, in some mantras where it'll go over like bhakti and shakti and all of these things and list them, and they'll have an ending. Also in the 64 arts in the Brahma Samhita, that's the most recent time I've seen that. I think it has visarga at the end of a lot of them. But the thing this guy is saying is the gender affects the end. So a masculine word will have visarga at the end when free flowing, like or ihi. And a feminine or neuter gender word will have the M. Anyways, not important stuff.
Feminine has the M and the masculine has the visarga.
Yeah, I don't know how we would ever be able to know how to do apply that, but
Right. Interesting. Cool. Well, thank you for that, Chaitanya. Okay, how do I close the chat? Can't close the chat. Oh, here we are. Okay. All right, then let's move on. So we'll read this analysis here. And so this text was prepared by Sagar, Bhaktiananda Sagar Maharaj, who's now Sarupananda Guru. Very, very scholarly Vaishnava. Did a lot of important work. For those of you who haven't met him. I need to move this up. So analysis. Iha, in this world, Amnaya. Maybe you can, if you'd like, you can look at that. Yeah. In this world, Amnaya, the voice of Veda, attainable through the divine succession of gurus, Praha Harim declares Sri Hari, Paramam Tattvam, the supreme truth, Sarva Shaktam, replete with all potencies, Rishabdam, the nectarian ocean of all mellows, Tata, thus, Jivancha, all the Jivas also, Tad Vinamshan, his distinct spiritual particles, Prakriti Kavalitam, are swallowed by Maya, Tad Vimuktancha, or liberated from Maya. Bhava, yeah, that's right, that's what I was thinking. Bhava, by Bhav, that is Bhava Bhakti. Can you pass me revealed truth? Sakalam api, indeed, the entire creation. So here, Sakal, in Chanda is entire. Both spiritual and material, Veda Prakasham, is an inconceivably one and different manifestation, Hare, of Sri Hari. Amnaya Praha, the Vedas declare Shuddha Bhaktam, pure devotion, Sadhanam, the singular means, Yat Pritam Eva Sadhyam, love for Sri Krishna, the end. It's over here. Yat Pritam Eva Sadhyam, love for Sri Krishna, the end. Iti, such a message of the Vedas, Hari Gaur Chandra, the Supreme Lord, Sri Hari Gaur Chandra, Upadishati, teaches us, Tambaje, I serve that Supreme Lord, Sri Gaur Chandra, with all my heart. Okay, so that was a breakdown, word for word. Then we can read this translation. And we also have another translation, which is quite nice and revealed truth. So maybe we can read that too. Really get a feel for this. So, translation 1, the supreme holy teachings are the Vedas received in bona fide divine succession of spiritual masters. The divine authority is the Vedas and allied scriptures headed by Srimad Bhagavatam, Smriti, and others. This is in an expanded translation. By that authority, it is established that 2, Sri Hari Krishna is the supreme truth. 3, he is replete with all potencies. And 4, he is the nectarian ocean of all divine ecstasy. 5, the individual souls are his distinct spiritual particles. 6, some of them are captivated by Maya. And 7, some of them are liberated from Maya. Wonder which category I'm in. I think I'll go for 6. The 8, the entire creation, both spiritual chit and mundane achit, is an inconceivable, simultaneously different, yet identical manifestation of the Supreme Lord. The 9, devotion, bhakti, is the singular means to attain to 10, love for Sri Krishna, the singular supreme ultimate objective. I serve with all my heart the Supreme Lord, Sri Gaur Chandra, who graciously teaches us these 10 fundamental divine principles. Okay, and then I also have here, this is a very nice, concise translation that we have in Revealed Truth, which is quite helpful. Shri Gaur Chandra personally teaches the souls that 1, revealed knowledge establishes the truth. What is that truth? 2, that Hari is supreme. 3, he is omnipotent, Sarva Shaktam. 4, he is an ocean of rasa. 5, the souls are his separated parts. 6, they are either covered by material energy. 7, or liberated from material energy by devotion. 8, everything is a manifestation, distinct and non-distinct from Hari. 9, pure devotion is the way. 10, love for Hari is the goal. So very nice. And then we have this commentary from our Gurudev, Srila Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. Within this one verse, which conveys the gist of the Daśa-Mūla Tattva, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given us everything. He has given the whole conception of Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Dev and Krishna consciousness. If you can read and memorize this verse, then everything will be within you. The full conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, and Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. Everything, the gist of all revealed knowledge, Amnaya, is within this one verse. But don't try to understand this verse by yourself. Hear it from an expert. Everywhere throughout all the scriptures, this advice is given. You must hear from an expert. So hear this verse from an expert who knows its meaning. If you hear from him with full faith, you will understand properly what is what, and you will get. Okay. So let's see what time it is. 7:20 now. I'm wondering if we should go on to the next here. Go on. So we're hearing Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's own explanation of these 10 points. So now in this next verse, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to elaborate on what is Amnaya, right? We reveal this first point that is mentioned, Amnaya Prahatatvam, that revealed knowledge establishes truth. Okay. Jayadev, are you available to you want to chant this verse for us, or maybe your work? Oh, and Dulal Prabhu's joined us too. Nice.
I probably could. I think I could read it. I don't have my reading glasses on. I just read this thing on the page right here.
Yeah.
All right, let me figure out my meter. Do we know the meter on this one?
No. Marie's here. Really
It
nice.
looks like Ganeshtub. Svata Siddho Vedo Hari Dayita Vedha Prabhritaha Pramanam Sat Praptam Pramiti Vishayans Nava Vidhan Tata Pratyakshadi Pramiti Sahitam Sadhayatino Na Yuktis Tarka Kya Pravishyati Tata Shaktirahita. Analysis. Hari Dayita Veda Prabhrita Sorry, I don't have my glasses. Prabhrititaha Praptaha. Received in the divine succession of gurus headed by Lord Brahma, the recipient of Sri Hari's grace. Svata Siddha Veda, the innately perfect or self-evident Veda. Pratyakshadi Pramiti Sahitam Sat Praptam Pramanam, the perfect and eternal authority, properly assisted by direct perception, verbal evidence, and inference. Nah, in our relativity, Sadhayati establishes, tata, thus, navavidhan, 9 kinds of tan, pramiti vishayan, truths to be known, Tarakakha yukti, argumentative logic, na pravishati, cannot enter, tata, that thought, shakti rahita, being impotent. Oh, is that the word for word? Sorry. Translation. Those supreme sacred teachings are the perfect Vedas received in the line of Lord Brahma, the beloved servitor of the Supreme Lord Hari, and the fit recipient of his grace, assisted by our favorable perception, oral reception, and inference. Those supreme teachings establish beyond all doubt 9 truths, 2 through 10 above. Common logic can never approach the inconceivable. The argument cannot enter into this line of thought. Oh, keep going? Or
oh, I was just gonna say, I just love how like this whole thank you, Jaya Devji, like how this whole oh look,
Sure.
Jagannath is joining us. Jai Jagannath.
they're coming to the parade for us. These are Shakuntala's deities. I think they're like 500 or 600 year old, originally from Puri. They're actually big. Here's my hand. Yeah, the big guys.
Maybe we can, if I stop sharing, then we can show the screen. Maybe. Here's highlighted.
Yeah, they're just in our kitchen. It's kind of crazy.
Okay, I'll go back.
I just realized I'm standing right in front of them reading. I should show you guys. Okay.
Now, how do I go back to the screen share? What happened?
Green dot.
Sorry, I'm just trying to go back to the screen share. Share screen. Okay. So I really appreciate how like this whole transaction is just based on trust, like faith. It's like either you believe this or you don't, right? And it's okay if you don't, right? Common logic can never approach the inconceivable. So argument cannot enter into this line of thought. We are establishing the supreme truth. And if you don't have the faith to recognize and appreciate that, then we're sorry. You can go on your way. Right? Srila Sridhar Maharaj, there's a place where he's explaining that, you know, higher exchange is based on this trust. Like there's no question of doubt. And he says that the word Veda, we can understand it like in the sense of an imperative, like no, just know, like know this. You know, like if a mother is explaining something to their child, right? And it's based on a relationship of trust and love, right? The child just assumes mommy knows what's best for me. Mommy knows everything. Mommy is my world, right? Mommy would never lie to me. Mommy knows everything. Mommy is God, right? It's like, there's just this deep relationship of trust. So mommy told me not to put the finger in the fire, so I won't put the finger in the fire. Of course, that's a good child. Lots of naughty children won't listen. But when there's a relationship of deep trust, it's like that. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, like the higher Vedic knowledge, like coming from the highest plane, that's the spirit in which knowledge is given. Like there's no question of you doubting it. It's just assumed. Like everybody here is speaking truth. Everybody here is honest. No one is speaking unless they really know what they're talking about and they have something valuable and significant to bring to the conversation. Right? So this type of spirit is kind of, it's just this wonderful spirit of like this divine revelation coming down, like this is what it is, right? And and it can be hard for persons who are coming from the mundane world where there's so much cheating and it's the whole culture of exploitation, right? But those who have some more refined sensibilities, theistic sensibilities, they can appreciate this like autocracy, you could say, this type of autocracy that's been established here. Like, we're sorry, Hari is supreme, he's number one. And that's the way it is. Maybe we can ask Suvasanji to chant one more verse. And of course, not that there isn't logic. Of course, logic is there, but common logic, right? That has no place here. This is all of a higher nature. Okay, Suvasanji, do you want to chant this next verse?
Yeah, sure. I think Radhan Rupini is putting her hand up. Is there anything
sorry.
she wants to say or something?
Radhana Rupini, please.
I just have a question. Does that have anything to do with like trying to cut the ego? Because the ego is a last, snare of Maya, like that, like the common logic. This is something that you can't just perceive with your own mind and your own logic. You have to kind of like surrender and be humble. And I don't know, that's my question. Does it have anything to do with that, Didi? I'm not sure.
Wait, sorry, I'm so confused with all these different screens here. Well, this is the screen. Maximize the screen. Okay. So how do I show it? Here we go. See the gallery view. Okay. So I wasn't 100% sure what you're referring to. You're saying is instruction given like this deliberately to cut people's ego? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that the common logic cannot grasp, that you have to be, it's just coming from the heart, to surrender and basically surrender, and you can't be mental speculating about it. And I was wondering if that has anything to do with the ego, because it seems like when we start coming from that ego, I'm just wondering, that's all.
I think the ego has no place here, but I wouldn't say, the ego will obstruct us from being able to hear, right? But I don't feel that, like in this writing, Bhaktivinoda is deliberately trying to cut ego. That's not his intention. He's just stating the facts. But certainly you're correct that the ego blinds us, right? And clouds our consciousness and will render us unable to, the ego is like it creates noise, right? In our consciousness, which will interrupt, right?
Thank you for clarifying that.
Those are my thoughts. Marie, did you want to say something? You put something in the chat here.
I'm just cross-referencing. I'd put in that this is kind of like the difference between the verbs kennen and wissen in German. In English, they both mean to know, but kennen in German means to know, like a family member or a friend, and wissen means to know a fact with your head. And then also there's something out of Isaiah, with the wisdom of their wise shall perish and the discernment of the discerning shall be hidden. And then I was saying, on one level, it can cut through the ego, but I'm not sure that's the primary purpose, because if you're living in a world that relies on logic and you feel something, you may need validation that that is reality. And so this verse can equally be validating of the experience of someone who does get that heart understanding. So, yeah. That's just where I was going with that, just throwing thoughts in the chat wall.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, I just also want to say, like, like Sridhar Maharaj, and he talks about this. If you want to know things, like, with knowledge, that means that there's a doubt and suspicion in the background, right? So you want to, you're suspicious, so you want to know, otherwise I will be cheated. So, you have in the background, there is a suspicion, if you want to try to understand everything with knowledge. And so in the world of faith, this is like, there's the world with, there is complete trust. There is no suspicion there. And so it is like you are completely, that is absent. That suspicion is absent. So that flow of, faith grows. I don't know whether that's helpful, but just
Yes, very nice, very nice. Yes, very nice. I'm reminded of just yesterday, I think it was a clip of our Param Guru Maharaj, Srila Maharaj. He was speaking around these lines and saying how it's a very curious thing, because ultimately we can only recognize this truth by grace, right? And Sukriti, by our own spiritual fortune. And then Srila Maharaj was saying how like our Sukriti, it will determine our taste, right? And he mentioned like our type of the association that we choose, that will be based on our Sukriti. We will find, oh, this association, this company is very friendly to me, very attractive to me, right? So when we have more developed Sukriti, which is ultimately grace, right, then we will be able to recognize, oh, this is true. Right? This is the highest truth. So it is like, that expression is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that we can only know that truth in its own light. So only in the light of our own faith can we perceive and recognize the value of what this is. And these words of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they'll ring true in our heart. It'll be like a bell in our heart, right? Amnaya prahatatvam hadim iha paramam, right? Revealed knowledge establishes what is true. And Shri Krishna Hari is all in all, the supreme. That will ring in our heart. That confirmation will be felt. Oh, this is the truth. Oh, Narottam is asking, maybe we have a group. Maybe you're not in that. We had a Brahma Samhita group, which we should change the name of the group now. And I shared the PDF. I'll share the PDF here also in our chat. Here we are. Okay, so I've shared a PDF here in our chat, and can also add you to our group on WhatsApp if you'd like, for our study group, current study group. Okay, well, maybe we'll stop there. Does anyone have any other comments or questions they'd like to bring up before we close for today? Really nice group today. We have more than usual join this group. Maybe everyone got excited to study the new text. Gosh, well, normally this Wednesday meeting is our smallest meeting. So we're ending on verse, so we're going to pick up on verse 3 next week, right? I'm reminded also of this verse in how does it begin? Srimad Bhagavatam, where it's speaking about the debate in regards to the existence of the Atma, right? The soul, and Paramatma, the supreme soul, that, this debate, some say it does exist, some say it doesn't exist. And this debate will continue eternally because some have the eyes to see and others don't have the eyes to see, right? It's as simple as that, right? And this is why there's really no use in getting into debate with persons who aren't sincerely attracted in some way. If they want to debate it with a mood of sincerity to come to some real conclusion, then it is worth it, right? To get into some intellectual debate. But if someone just wants to debate, based on some empirical analysis and battle of the wits, it's not what this is about. But there must be some faith there. There must be some sukriti there, some genuine desire to come to a real conclusion. Right? So, well, very, very nice meeting with all of you. Oh, and we have a happy note here from Marie. Her health. She's been given the green light, green bill of health. We look forward to seeing you at the Govinda Mela. Vivo. Okay, well, thank you.
I was going to be there no matter what. The question was, how much would I be able to participate?
Right. Well, good to see your smiling, bright face, Marie. Okay, well, we'll close here for today. Really, thank you all so much for your wonderful association. I'll try and rope in the Lita Madhava next Wednesday because I'm going to be in London with him. We'll just be a few miles apart. He has said he'll come and visit me at the temple. So maybe we can even do something with him in person. We'll see.
Ask if there is any PDF book on Brahma Samhita.
Sorry, what did you say, Scarlett?
If there is any PDF book on Brahma Samhita.
Yes, there is one.
Can I get?
Yeah, I will share that with you. I actually published it on Jaya Shri. I'll share the link with you right now. Just 1 second here. Here we are. And also we have it in Spanish, if that's helpful to anyone. Spanish, Espanol.
Did you send it here or on WhatsApp?
I'm just give me 1 moment. I'll share it in the chat here. Here's our chat. Thank you, Seva Rupa. Really lovely to see you with us today. Kirtida, Sulalita. Okay, so here's a link also to our Brahma Samhita.
Thank you very much.
Of course, it's also available on vedabase.com, the ISKCON edition, which is very close to our edition. So,
thank you very much. And thank you for today.
Thank you, Scarlett. It's always so nice to see your enthusiasm, your bright face. And special mention again to Sue Devi Das, who's tuning in the middle of the night. It's now 3:30 a.m. in Australia.
Now I'm just like, do I go back to sleep or do I start japa before Mangalarti?
That's what I was going to ask you before. What are you going to do after the meeting? Are you going to miss Mangalarti or are you going to stay up, wait for Mangalarti?
I won't miss Mangalarti, but I got a bit of a cold at the moment, so I don't know. But I could do japa, I could get in some japa before Mangalarti now. But I am tired. I didn't go to sleep till like 10 or something like that, 10:30.
No. Oh dear. Well, don't get more sick, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. All the assembled beautiful Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, sincere seekers Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Sai Gaur Premanande.
People, Vishaka Didi ki jai.
Yay. Dandavats. Thank you for your submission. Dandavats.
That's